You are tired, but it is not a tiredness that sleep can fix. You wake up exhausted, you move through your day with a heaviness in your chest, and you go to bed with a mind that refuses to shut down. You are carrying something. You might not see it, and you might not even be able to name it, but you feel the weight of it in every decision you make. You are dragging a dead past into a living future, and it is killing you. Most people live their entire lives in a state of quiet desperation, frantically treading water while holding on to an anchor. They believe that holding on is an act of strength. They tell themselves that if they just grip the past tight enough, they can change it. If they replay the argument one more time, they will win. If they analyze the heartbreak just once more, it will make sense. They believe that by clutching their trauma, they are protecting themselves from being hurt again. But this is the greatest lie the human mind tells itself. Holding on is not strength. Holding on is simply the refusal to accept reality. You have walked into this audiobook because you know, deep down, that you are stuck. You are caught in a loop of old patterns, old conversations, and old versions of yourself that no longer exist. You look at the calendar and see a new year, but in your mind it is still 5 years ago. You are still trying to please people who are gone. You are still trying to fix mistakes that have already solidified into history. You are virtually haunting your own life. This needs to stop. The art of letting go is not about giving up. It is not about weakness, and it is certainly not about failure. It is a strategic, deliberate, and powerful act of self-liberation. It is the realization that you cannot reach for what is in front of you if your hands are filled with the junk of what is behind you. Over the course of this book, we are going to dismantle the architecture of your suffering. We are going to look at the biology of attachment, why your brain craves the familiarity of pain over the uncertainty of freedom. We are going to destroy the myth of control. You will learn that the anxiety you feel is simply the friction between who you are and who you think you should be. We are going to walk through the fire of forgiveness, not because the people who hurt you deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You will learn how to hold a funeral for the person you used to be so that the person you are becoming can finally breathe. This will not be a comfortable process. Your ego loves your chains. Your ego loves to be the victim, the misunderstood, the one who was wronged. Letting go requires a type of bravery that most people simply do not possess. It requires you to open your hand and watch the things you thought defined you slip away into the wind. But on the other side of that fear is a lightness you cannot currently imagine. Imagine waking up without the immediate rush of anxiety. Imagine walking into a room without projecting your past failures onto the people inside it. Imagine a mind that is quiet, sharp, and present. That is the destination. If you are listening to this and you feel that resonance in your chest, if you feel that you are ready to put down the weight, then you are in the right place. And if you have watched or listened up to this point and you are ready to commit to this change, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the Premier Audiobooks. It is a small action, but it helps us reach more people who are ready to break their own chains. The door to your cell is wide open. It has always been open. You have simply been standing in the corner, staring at the wall, convinced you are trapped. Turn around. The way out is right here. It is time to let go. Chapter 1. The Invisible Chains. How much energy does it take to stand still? If you are carrying a heavy stone in your hands, standing still is not a passive act. It requires a tremendous amount of muscular tension, focus, and caloric burn just to remain in one place without collapsing. To the observer, you look like you are simply standing there, but internally, your systems are firing at maximum capacity. Your muscles are trembling, and your sweat is breaking, all to maintain a static position. This is the current state of your mind. You believe you are resting. You believe you are simply living your life. But in reality, you are exhausting yourself just to stay upright. You are carrying a weight that has become so familiar you have forgotten it is not a part of your body. These are the invisible chains. They are the silent, heavy obligations to a past that is dead and a future that hasn't happened yet.
Before we can learn the art of letting go, we must first understand the anatomy of holding on. We have to identify exactly what you are gripping so tightly, and more importantly, why you refuse to open your hand. Most people operate under the delusion that their suffering is caused by external events. You think you are stressed because of your job. You think you are heartbroken because of that person who left. You think you are angry because of what your parents did to you 20 years ago. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of human psychology. Events do not cause suffering. Events cause pain. Pain is inevitable. It is a biological signal that something has happened. Suffering, however, is a choice. Suffering is the result of your resistance to the pain. Suffering is what happens when you argue with reality. Imagine you are walking down the street and it begins to rain. The rain is the event. Getting wet is the outcome. If you accept the rain, you might be cold, you might be wet, but your mind is calm. You simply walk to shelter. But if you stand in the street screaming at the sky, demanding to know why it is raining on you specifically, asking what you did to deserve this and replaying the weather report that promised sun, now you are suffering. You are wet and you are miserable. The invisible chains you wear are forged from this resistance. You are chained to the idea that things should have been different. You are dragging around the corpse of a reality that never came to pass. Let's look at the biology of this. Why do we do it? Why would a rational human being choose to carry a burden that crushes them?
The answer lies in the primitive wiring of your brain. Your brain does not prioritize your happiness, it prioritizes your survival. And to your ancient lizard brain, survival is synonymous with familiarity. The unknown is dangerous. The unknown is where the predators live. So your brain prefers a familiar hell to an unfamiliar heaven. You hold on to your trauma, your grudges, and your limiting beliefs because they are known quantities. You know who you are when you are the victim. You know how to navigate the world when you are angry. You have built an entire ecosystem around your pain. If you were to let that go, who would you be? The silence that follows the dropping of the weight is terrifying to the ego. The ego thrives on conflict and problem solving. If there is no problem, the ego feels unnecessary. So you subconsciously manufacture weight to give your ego something to do. This is why you find yourself having the same arguments in your head over and over again with people who aren't even in the room. This is why you replay embarrassing moments from a decade ago while you are trying to fall asleep. Your mind is desperately grasping for something to chew on, something to control, to avoid the vast, open space of the present moment. We must also distinguish between two concepts that are often confused: memory and attachment. You are likely afraid that if you let go, you will forget. You fear that letting go of a lost loved one means you didn't love them enough. You fear that letting go of a past injustice means you are condoning what happened to you. This is false. Memory is a record of an event. It is a file in a cabinet.
You can take it out, look at it, read the data, and put it back. It is neutral. Attachment is the emotional charge fused to that memory. It is the invisible wire that pumps voltage into the file every time you touch it. When you're attached, you're not remembering the event, you are reliving it. Your body does not know the difference between an event happening now and a vivid memory of it. When you sit in your car and furiously think about the betrayal you experienced 3 years ago, your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate spikes, your digestion shuts down. You are chemically recreating the trauma in the present moment. Letting go is the act of severing the wire, not destroying the file. When you master the art of letting go, you will still remember what happened. You will still remember the person who hurt you. But when you look at that memory, there will be no spike. There will be no voltage. It will just be a fact, sitting quietly in history with no power to govern your mood today.
Think of the energy you are hemorrhaging right now. Every morning you wake up and you put on your armor. You brace yourself against potential criticism. You replay the failures of yesterday to ensure you don't repeat them. You forecast the disasters of tomorrow so you can be prepared. You are running a massive, complex simulation in your mind that requires 80% of your processing power. This is why you are exhausted. You are not tired because of your workload. You are tired because of your mental load. You are running a marathon in your mind while sitting at your desk. The invisible chains also manifest as the stories we tell ourselves about our capabilities. I am not the kind of person who... I always mess up. I'm just not lucky. These are not observations, they are decrees. When you hold on to a label, you restrict your range of motion. If you hold on to the belief that you are socially awkward, you will scan every interaction for evidence to prove yourself right. You will cling to that identity because it protects you from the risk of trying and failing to connect. It is a heavy shield, but you have decided that the weight of the shield is preferable to the sting of rejection. But here is the brutal truth. The cage you are in is unlocked. There are no guards. There is no warden. No one is forcing you to relive your divorce every day. No one is forcing you to obsess over your weight. No one is forcing you to be offended by that comment on the internet. You are doing it. You are the prisoner, and you are the jailer. This realization is often painful. It is much easier to blame the world. It is easier to say, I can't let go because he hasn't apologized. But that gives him all the power. That makes your internal peace conditional on the external behavior of someone else. That is slavery. True freedom begins with radical responsibility. You must accept that while you did not choose what happened to you, you are choosing how to carry it. The weight of these chains is cumulative. A single resentment is like a single sheet of paper, light, negligible. But if you stack a sheet of paper every day for 10 years, you are eventually carrying a ton. You have been collecting slights, collecting failures, collecting disappointments, and filing them away in your backpack. You think you are learning from experience, but you are mostly just hoarding evidence of why life is hard. You need to understand the physics of your own life. You have a finite amount of emotional bandwidth. Every unit of energy you spend maintaining a grudge is a unit of energy you cannot spend on building your dreams. Every moment you spend trying to rewrite the past is a moment stolen from creating your future. You cannot move forward if you are looking backward. It is physically impossible. Try running a sprint while looking over your shoulder. You will slow down, you will veer off course, and eventually you will crash. To win the race, your eyes must be fixed on the finish line, not the starting block. The invisible chains also bind us to the expectations of others. This is perhaps the most insidious weight of all. You are carrying the heavy, leaden expectations of your parents, your culture, or your society. You are living a life designed by committee, terrified to disappoint the gallery of ghosts in your head. You hold on to a career you hate because it looks like success to others. You stay in a relationship that drains you because it looks like stability to others. Letting go means risking the disapproval of the crowd to gain the approval of your own soul. It means dropping the mask. It means admitting that the life you have built might be impressive to look at, but it feels like a prison to live in. As we move through this audiobook, we are going to systematically locate these chains. Some of them you know about, the big traumas, the major losses. But many of them are subtle. They are micro habits of thought. They are the reflex to judge, the reflex to defend, the reflex to worry. We are going to examine the sunk cost fallacy of your identity. You have spent years building this version of yourself, the one who is tough, the one who is a victim, the one who is always right. You have invested so much time in this avatar that walking away from it feels like a waste. But it is not a waste to walk away from a burning house, no matter how long it took to build. You must prepare yourself for a shock. When you finally drop the weight, you might feel off balance. You have been leaning against the wind for so long that when the wind stops, you might stumble. That is okay. That is part of the process of recalibration. The sensation of freedom is often mistaken for emptiness. When the noise of your anxiety stops, the silence can be deafening. When the drama of your past fades, the present can seem boring. But this boredom is actually peace. It is the blank canvas upon which you can finally paint something new. We are not just talking about moving on. Moving on implies simply leaving something behind. We are talking about transcendence. We are talking about rising above the level of consciousness that created the problem in the first place. Einstein said, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." You cannot think your way out of a prison made of thoughts. You have to drop the thinking. You have to drop the analysis. You have to drop the need to understand why. Why is the trap? Why did this happen? Why me? Why are they like that? You can spend a lifetime digging for the why and never find the how. How do I live now? How do I breathe now? How do I step forward? The how requires lighter hands. It requires you to empty your pockets. Imagine you were on a sinking ship. You have a suitcase full of gold bars. It is everything you have worked for. The ship is going down, and you have to swim to the shore. You cannot swim with the gold. You have to make a choice. Do you want to be rich and dead, or poor and alive? Most people choose to drown with the gold. They cling to their righteousness, their anger, and their justifications until the water fills their lungs. They would rather be right about how unfair life is than be free. Don't be most people. Drop the gold. The gold is fake anyway. The only real treasure is your capacity to experience life fully, right now, without the filter of the past. As we end this first chapter, I want you to do a mental inventory. Scan your body. Where are you holding tension? Is it in your jaw, your shoulders, your stomach? That physical tension is the shadow of a mental chain. What thought is attached to that tension? What worry is tightening that muscle? You don't have to fix it yet. You don't have to solve it. Just see it. Acknowledge it. I am carrying this. That admission is the first step. You cannot put down a burden you refuse to admit you are holding. This journey is not about acquiring something new. You don't need to add more to your life to be happy. You are already complete. You are just buried under a pile of debris. This journey is about excavation. We are going to dig you out. We are going to remove the rocks one by one until the light hits your face again. You have spent enough time in the dark. You have spent enough energy standing still. It is time to move. Chapter 2. The Myth of Control. If you want to make a human being anxious, give them a problem they cannot solve. If you want to break a human being completely, give them a problem that looks solvable but isn't. This is the trap of control. You believe that if you just think hard enough, plan detailed enough, and worry intense enough, you can bend reality to your will. You believe that you are the architect of your destiny, the captain of your soul, and the director of the movie that is your life. And while there is truth to the idea of personal agency, there is a dangerous delusion sitting right next to it: the belief that you can control the outcome. You are not the director of the movie. You are, at best, an improvisational actor on a stage where the set is constantly changing, the other actors don't have scripts, and the genre switches from comedy to tragedy without warning. The primary reason you cannot let go of your ex, of your failed business, of your past mistakes, is because you are addicted to the illusion that you could have controlled it. You replay the scenario in your mind, tweaking variables. If I had just said this, if I had just been there 5 minutes earlier, if I had worked harder. You are running a simulation where you are God, retroactively fixing the chaos. But you are not God.
You are a biological organism living on a spinning rock in a chaotic universe. The sooner you admit this, the sooner you can stop hyperventilating. Let's define what control actually is in the context of the human mind. Control is the demand that the external world conform to your internal expectations.
It is a rigid contract you sign with the universe. The contract says, I will put in X amount of effort, and in exchange, you will give me Y result. When you work hard and don't get the promotion, you feel betrayed because the universe breached the contract. When you are a loving partner and you get cheated on, you feel destroyed because the contract was violated. You think, this shouldn't be happening. That phrase, this shouldn't be happening, is the root of your neurosis. It is the sound of a mind crashing against the rocks of reality. The truth is, there is no contract. There is only cause and effect, much of which is completely outside your sphere of influence. You control your input. You do not control the output. You control the arrow you shoot. You do not control the wind that catches it. Most people spend their lives frantically trying to control the wind. Consider the physical act of trying to control everything. Imagine you are driving a car on a highway. You are gripping the steering wheel so hard your knuckles are white. You are staring at the cars around you, trying to telepathically force them to stay in their lanes. You are screaming at the red lights. You are tensing your body every time someone brakes. You are exhausted. And the irony is, your tension does not make the car safer. It makes you a worse driver. You are rigid, you are reactive, you are slow to adjust because your muscles are locked. Now imagine a Formula One driver. They are moving at 200 miles per hour. Are they tense? No. They are hyper-focused but physically fluid. They know they cannot control the track conditions. They cannot control the other drivers. They can only control their own reactions. They drive with a soft touch. They work with the physics of the car, not against it. You are trying to drive your life with the parking brake on, terrified that if you let go of the tension, you will crash. But the tension is what is causing the crash. The desire for control is born out of fear, specifically the fear of the unknown. The human brain hates uncertainty. Uncertainty triggers the same neural pathways as physical pain. So, to avoid the pain of the unknown, we manufacture false certainty. We create routines, we create rules, and we create elaborate plans for the future. When you obsessively check your partner's phone, you are trying to manufacture certainty. You think that if you know everything, you can prevent hurt. When you micromanage your employees, you're trying to manufacture certainty. You think that if you watch every move, failure is impossible. But you cannot prevent hurt, and you cannot prevent failure. The more you tighten your grip, the more reality slips through your fingers. It's like trying to grab a handful of water. If you keep your hand open and cupped, you can hold the water. If you squeeze your fist tight to secure it, the water squirts out and you're left with nothing but a damp palm. We must also talk about the tyranny of the future. The controller lives entirely in the future. You're constantly projecting scenarios. What if I lose my job? What if I get sick? What if they don't like me? This is not preparation. This is a misuse of your imagination. You are using your creative power to design horror movies that you then force yourself to watch. You are suffering the consequences of events that have not even happened yet. You are paying interest on a debt you haven't even borrowed. Why do we do this? Because we believe that worrying is a form of work. We believe that if we worry about something enough, we are somehow solving it. We think, if I anticipate every possible disaster, I won't be blindsided. But you will be blindsided. The thing that actually takes you down is never the thing you worried about. You worried about your heart health for 10 years, and then you got hit by a bus. You worried about your stock portfolio, and then your spouse asked for a divorce. The universe has a dark sense of humor. It rarely attacks from the front. It attacks from the blind spot. No amount of controlling behavior can cover 360 degrees of blind spots. So if control is a myth, what is the alternative? Is it passivity? Is it just lying down and letting life run over you? No. The alternative to control is not passivity, it is adaptability. The oak tree and the reed are the classic example for a reason. The oak tree is strong, it is rigid, it controls its space. It says, "I will not move." But when the hurricane comes, the oak tree snaps. Its strength is its weakness. It cannot bend, so it must break. The reed is weak. It has no control over the wind. It bows low. It touches the ground. It surrenders to the force of the gale. But when the storm passes, the reed springs back up. It survives because it did not try to control the wind. It danced with it. You need to become the reed. Letting go of control means shifting your focus from the outcome to the process. If you are writing a book, you cannot control if it becomes a bestseller. You can only control the quality of the sentences you write today. If you are starting a business, you cannot control the market. You can only control the quality of your product. When you detach from the outcome, you liberate your energy. You stop looking at the scoreboard and start looking at the ball. And ironically, when you stop trying to force the win, you usually play better. Think about a time you were in the zone. Maybe it was playing a sport or playing music or having a deep conversation. Were you trying to control it? No. You were flowing. You were reacting in real time. You weren't thinking about the next measure or the next point. You were fully immersed in the now. That is the state of mastery. That is the state of no mind. Control is the enemy of flow. Control is the stutter in the speech. Control is the hesitation before the jump. There is a terrifying freedom in admitting you are not in charge. It feels like falling. But there is a secret. There is no ground to hit. You are just floating. Let's look at how this applies to people. Attempting to control others is the fastest way to destroy a relationship. You try to change your partner. You try to mold your children. You try to manage your friends' perceptions of you. This is manipulation, plain and simple. When you try to control someone, you are treating them like an object, not a subject. You are saying, "You exist to fulfill my script." And people rebel against scripts. They will resent you or they will leave you. Letting go of control in relationships means accepting people exactly as they are. It means realizing that you cannot save them, you cannot fix them, and you cannot make them love you. But if I don't control them, they might hurt me. Yes, they might. That is the risk of intimacy. You cannot have love without the risk of loss. You are trying to buy an insurance policy on the human heart, and no such company exists. You must also let go of the need to control your own image. Many of you are obsessed with reputation management. You curate your social media. You rehearse your conversations. You buy clothes you can't afford, all to control what other people think of you. This is a prison. You are the warden of a prison where the inmates are your own insecurities. You are terrified that if you slip up, if you look foolish, if you show weakness, the illusion will shatter. Let it shatter. There is nothing more charismatic than a person who does not care what you think of them. Not in a rude way, but in a liberated way. They are free. They are not trying to sell you anything. They are just existing. That authenticity is magnetic. But you cannot be authentic if you are trying to control the perception. Authenticity requires messiness. It requires the risk of being misunderstood. So how do we break this addiction to control? It starts with the surrender experiment. For the next 24 hours, try a radical experiment. Say yes to whatever reality presents. If there is traffic, say yes. Don't fight it. Sit in it. Observe it. If it rains, say yes. If your coffee spills, say yes. Notice the internal resistance. Notice the voice that screams, "No, this is wrong. This disrupts my plan." Catch that voice. That voice is the controller. It is a scared little child throwing a tantrum because the world isn't a nursery. Soothe the child, but do not obey it. When you stop fighting reality, you reclaim the energy you were using to fight it. You become more efficient. You deal with the spilled coffee instantly instead of spending 10 minutes being angry about the spilled coffee. We often confuse worrying with caring. We think that if we stop worrying about our children, we stop caring about them. This is false. Worry is fear-based. Care is love-based. You can care deeply about your child's safety without obsessively controlling their every movement. In fact, your control prevents them from learning the very resilience they need to survive the world you are so afraid of. The ultimate form of control we try to exert is over time. We are always rushing. We are trying to get to the next thing. We treat the present moment as an obstacle to be overcome on the way to the future. I'll be happy when I get the job. I'll be calm when the house is clean. I'll be relaxed when the weekend comes. You are trying to fast forward the movie, but life only happens in the frames you are skipping. By trying to control the timeline, you are missing the show. You have to learn to trust. Not trust that everything will be perfect. That is a fairy tale. You have to trust that you can handle whatever happens. This is the shift from external control to internal confidence. External control says, I need the world to be safe so I can be okay. Internal confidence says, I am okay no matter what the world does. The person with internal confidence walks into a room and doesn't need to check the exits. They know that if there is a fire, they will figure it out. They trust their adaptability. They trust their resilience. They don't need a script because they know how to improvise. As we move deeper into this book, you will find that letting go is not about losing power. It is about realizing where your power actually lies. Your power is not in your grip. It is in your stance. A martial artist does not stand stiff. They stand loose, knees bent, ready to move in any direction. You have been standing stiff for too long. You are locked in a defensive posture against a world that you cannot defeat. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Open your hands. The car is moving at 1,000 miles an hour. You are not driving. You never were. You are the passenger. You can scream or you can look out the window and enjoy the view. The destination is the same regardless of how much you panic. Stop trying to steer the train. Stop trying to push the river. The river knows where it is going. Your job is to learn how to swim. Chapter 3. Prisoners of Yesterday. Time travel is not science fiction. It is a mental disorder that you practice every single day. You wake up in the present, you brush your teeth in the present, but the moment your mind goes idle, you vanish. You transport yourself back to a conversation from 3 years ago. You return to the scene of a failure from your childhood. You sit in a room that no longer exists, arguing with people who are no longer there, trying to fix a situation that has already turned to ash. You are a time traveler who only visits the worst parts of history. This is the state of being a prisoner of yesterday. You are physically alive in the now, but emotionally comatose, trapped in a museum of your own making. You walk through the halls of your memory, dusting off old hurts, polishing old trophies, and wondering why your life today feels so stagnant. It feels stagnant because you aren't actually in it. To free your mind, we must confront the nature of the past. The past does not exist. This is not a philosophical metaphor, it is a physical fact. The past has no mass, it has no temperature, it has no location. You cannot go there. It is a neurological echo. It is a trace left on your neurons like footprints in the sand. But the person who made those footprints is gone. When you obsess over the past, you are obsessing over a ghost. You are letting a phantom dictate your reality. There are two primary ways we imprison ourselves in yesterday: nostalgia and regret. They seem like opposites. One is sweet, one is bitter, but they are the same trap. Both remove you from the power of the present moment. Let's start with nostalgia, the seductive trap. You look back at the good old days. You think about the relationship you used to have, the job you used to hold, the body you used to live in. You play a highlight reel in your head. You remember the laughter, the victories, the feeling of safety, and then you look at your current life, the bills, the stress, the uncertainty, and you feel cheated.
You think, I used to be someone. I used to be happy. But your memory is a liar. The human brain is an editor, not a documentary filmmaker. When you look back, your brain conveniently edits out the boredom, the anxiety, and the pain of those times. You remember the ex-lover's smile, but you forget the screaming matches at 2 a.m. You remember the glory of high school, but you forget the crushing insecurity you felt every morning on the bus. You are comparing your reality of today with a fantasy of yesterday. Of course, the present loses. The present is messy. The present has consequences. The past is safe because it is finished. It is a story with an ending you already know, and the human mind loves predictability. Nostalgia is dangerous because it convinces you that your best days are behind you. If you believe your peak was 10 years ago, you have just written your own obituary. You are telling your subconscious that there is nothing left to strive for, nothing left to build. You are just waiting out the clock. You must shatter this pedestal. The past was not perfect, it was just different. And more importantly, it is dead. You cannot eat the fruit from a tree that died last winter. You have to plant new seeds. Now let's deal with the heavier chain, regret. Regret is the hope that the past could have been different. It is the insanity of trying to rewrite a book that has already been published. I should have taken that job. I shouldn't have said that to her. I should have invested in that company. These sentences are poison. They are built on a fallacy called counterfactual thinking. You create a fantasy parallel universe where you made the right choice, and in that universe, everything is perfect. You are rich, you are loved, you are happy. But you don't know that. If you had taken that job, maybe you would have been miserable. Maybe you would have gotten into a car accident on the commute. If you had married that person, maybe you would be in a bitter divorce right now. You are comparing your actual life to a fantasy life that never had to withstand the test of reality. You are judging your past self with your current wisdom. This is the ultimate unfair trial. Imagine a courtroom. You are the judge, the jury, and the prosecutor. The defendant is the you from 10 years ago. You are screaming at the defendant. How could you be so stupid? Why didn't you see the red flags? Why did you waste that money? But the you from 10 years ago didn't have the evidence you have now. They were doing the best they could with the information, maturity, and emotional tools they had at the time. Blaming your past self for not knowing what you know now is like yelling at a 5-year-old for not knowing calculus. It is cruel, and it is useless. You have to issue a pardon. Not because what you did was right, but because the trial is over. The sentence has been served. You have already paid the price for your mistakes. You paid it in lost time, lost money, or lost relationships. Why are you double taxing yourself with guilt? Guilt is interest paid on a debt that was already settled. Stop paying it. There is a concept in economics called sunk cost. If you spend $1 million building a factory and then realize the factory is useless, that $1 million is gone. It is a sunk cost. You cannot get it back. Many people will keep pouring money into the useless factory just because they already spent $1 million. They don't want to admit it was a waste. You do this with your life. You stay in a career you hate because you spent 4 years in college studying for it. You stay in a marriage that is dead because you have already invested 10 years. You are throwing good life after bad life. You cannot get the time back. The 5 years you wasted are gone. The money you lost is gone. The opportunity you missed is gone. Cry about it, scream about it, grieve it, and then walk away from the factory. Every morning you wake up is a fresh negotiation with reality. The universe asks, what will you do with this outcome? If you answer, I will sit here and cry about the previous outcome, the universe shrugs and moves on without you. To escape the prison of yesterday, you must change your relationship with failure. You are carrying your failures like a criminal record. You think they define you. You think they're a tattoo on your forehead that says loser. But successful people, truly free people, do not view failure as a definition. They view it as data. When a scientist runs an experiment and the beaker explodes, they don't go home and cry about being a bad person. They clean up the glass, they look at their notes, and they say, okay, that mixture is volatile. Good to know. Next attempt.
Your failed relationship is data. It taught you what you don't want. Your failed business is data. It taught you what doesn't work. Your embarrassing moment is data. It taught you humility. Extract the lesson. Discard the shame. Imagine you are hiking up a mountain. You trip and fall. You scrape your knee. It hurts. Do you sit on the trail for the rest of your life, staring at the scrape, analyzing why you fell, blaming the rock? No. You get up, you brush off the dirt, you note that the rock was slippery, and you keep climbing. The scrape will heal, but only if you keep moving. If you stay there, you will freeze. The prisoners of yesterday are also obsessed with closure. You are waiting for someone else to give you permission to move on. You want the apology. You want the explanation. You want them to admit they were wrong. You might wait forever. Closure is a myth. Life rarely ties itself up in a neat bow. People leave without saying goodbye. People hurt you without understanding why. Injustice happens without retribution. If you are waiting for external closure, you are handing the keys of your happiness to the person who hurt you. You are saying, I cannot be free until you say the magic words. You have to give yourself closure. Closure is the moment you decide that you are done waiting. It is the moment you decide that the story is over, even if the ending was terrible. You close the book, you put it on the shelf, and you pick up a new one. Let's talk about the identity you are clinging to. Sometimes we are prisoners of a positive past. The high school quarterback, the former CEO, the beauty queen. You define yourself by who you were. This is a tragedy. It means you peaked. It means you are currently a shadow of a former self. You meet these people at reunions. They only talk about 1999. They have the same haircut. They tell the same stories. They are ghosts haunting a living world. You have to kill your past self to give birth to your future self. You have to be willing to be a beginner again. You have to be willing to be nobody for a while so you can become somebody new. If you were the smart kid in school and now you are struggling, let go of the label smart kid. It is holding you back. It is making you afraid to ask questions because you think you should already know the answer. If you were the victim of a terrible tragedy, let go of the label victim. It demands that you stay weak to justify the label. Who are you today? Not who were you. Who are you right now with the resources, scars, and skills you currently possess? Start there. This process requires a visual shift. Imagine driving a car. The windshield is huge. The rearview mirror is tiny. This is a deliberate design. The windshield is huge because what is in front of you matters. The rearview mirror is tiny because what is behind you only matters for a quick glance to ensure you are safe. You are driving through life staring into the rearview mirror. No wonder you keep crashing. Shift your gaze. The past is heavy. It is a backpack filled with rocks. You have been carrying it for miles. You are sweating. Your back is aching. Your knees are buckling. You are begging for relief. And yet, your hands are gripping the straps. You are the one holding it. You can take it off. You can set it down by the side of the road. But if I put it down, I will lose my memories. I will lose my lessons. No, you will keep the wisdom. You will lose the weight. You will keep the strength you built from carrying it, but you will lose the exhaustion. The act of letting go of the past is an act of trust in the future. It is saying, I believe that my best days are ahead of me. If you cannot say that, if you truly believe your best days are behind you, then you are already dead. You are just waiting for your body to catch up. Resurrect yourself. Look at your hands. They are empty. This is not a lack. This is potential. Empty hands can build. Empty hands can hold someone new. Empty hands can catch opportunities. Filled hands can do nothing but hold on. Today, do a mental purge. Go into the dark room of your mind where you keep the old tapes, the tape of your divorce, the tape of your firing, the tape of that embarrassing speech. Take them out. Look at them. They are just plastic. They are not you. Smash them. Burn the script. The character you played 5 years ago is retired. The character you played yesterday is retired. You are the actor. You are walking onto a new set. The lights are bright. The audience is waiting. The slate is blank. What are you going to say? Do not recite lines from the old play. That show was canceled. Speak something new. Start right now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is a fantasy. Yesterday is a ghost. There is only this breath, and this one, and this one. You are free the moment you decide to stop looking back. The chains of yesterday are made of smoke. You can walk right through them. Walk.
Chapter 4. The Poison in the Wound. There is an old saying that you have likely heard, but you have never truly understood. You have treated it as a cliché rather than a medical diagnosis. Resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You nod your head, you agree, and yet right now you are holding a cup of arsenic to your lips. You are sipping it daily. You are nursing a grudge that is eating the lining of your stomach, spiking your blood pressure and rotting your joy, all while the person who hurt you is out there living their life, sleeping soundly, completely unaware of your existence. This is the insanity of hate. You are destroying yourself to punish a phantom. We are moving into the deepest, darkest part of the letting go process. We have dealt with the past. We have dealt with control. Now we must deal with the wound. Specifically, the infection you have allowed to fester inside it. Resentment is not an emotion. It is a parasite. It is a living thing that feeds on your mental energy. It requires constant attention to survive. You have to feed it with memories. You have to water it with new arguments. You have to protect it from the light of reason. And in return for your care, it devours you. Why do we do this? Why do we hold on to anger toward people who betrayed us, abandoned us, or humiliated us? We do it because anger feels like power. When you are sad, you feel weak. When you are grieving, you feel vulnerable. But when you are angry, you feel energized. Adrenaline pumps through your veins. You feel righteous. You feel morally superior.
Anger is a drug that masks the pain of the wound. It is a numbing agent. You would rather be furious than broken. But anger is a false power. It is the power of a fever. It burns hot, but it leaves you weak and delirious. It is not sustainable fuel. You are treating your resentment as a weapon. You think that by staying angry, you are holding the other person accountable. You think your hatred is a cosmic penalty they must pay. But they aren't paying it. You are. They are not feeling your anger. Telepathy does not exist. Your rage is contained entirely within the walls of your own skin. You are setting your own house on fire, hoping the smoke will annoy your neighbor. To heal, we must discuss the most misunderstood word in the human language: forgiveness. If you just flinched, it's because you have been taught the wrong definition of forgiveness. You think forgiveness means saying it's okay. You think it means reconciliation. You think it means letting them back into your life. You think it means they get away with it. Let me be crystal clear. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. Forgiveness is not for them. It is for you. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was acceptable. It does not mean you have to be friends. It does not mean you trust them. You can forgive someone and never speak to them again for the rest of your life. You can forgive someone and still testify against them in court. Forgiveness is simply the decision to stop drinking the poison. It is the strategic decision to revoke the access that person has to your mental real estate.
Right now, the person who hurt you is living rent-free in your head. They are sitting on your couch, eating your food, and dirtying your carpet. You are the landlord, and you are letting them stay because you were too busy arguing with them to kick them out. Evict them. You do this by realizing that your anger is not punishing them, it is tethering you to them. As long as you hate them, you are attached to them. You are handcuffed to the source of your pain. Hate is a bond just as strong as love. If you want to be free, you have to cut the bond. You have to reach a point of indifference. The opposite of love is not hate. It is apathy. It is not caring. It is looking at the person who destroyed you and feeling nothing. Not anger, not sadness, just a neutral acknowledgement that they exist, like a tree or a rock. How do we get there? How do we drain the poison? First, you must perform an autopsy on your anger. What is underneath it? Usually, it is a shattered expectation. You expected loyalty. You got betrayal. You expected protection. You got abuse. The gap between what you expected and what you got is where the bacteria of resentment grows. You have to accept the reality of who they are. You were angry because you were still arguing with their character. How could they do that? Why don't they care? They did it because that is who they are. A snake bites because it is a snake. A liar lies because they are a liar. A narcissist manipulates because that is their nature. Stop expecting a snake to apologize for having fangs. Stop expecting a broken person to act like a whole person. When you accept that their behavior was an expression of their own pathology, not a judgment on your worth, the anger begins to cool. They didn't hurt you because you were unlovable. They hurt you because they were incapable of loving properly. This depersonalizes the trauma. It stops being about you. It becomes an observation of a sad, broken mechanism in another human being. Next, you must surrender the need for justice. This is the hardest pill to swallow. We are wired for fairness. We want the scales to balance. We want the villain to suffer and the hero to triumph. But look around you. Life is not a movie. Sometimes the bad guys win. Sometimes the people who hurt you go on to be rich and happy. If you are waiting for karma to strike before you can feel better, you are still a prisoner. You are waiting for an external event to grant you internal permission to heal. You have to declare your own Independence Day. You have to say, I don't care if they get what they deserve. I deserve peace, and I am taking it now. Letting go of the need for justice is the ultimate act of self-love. It is saying that your happiness is more important than your vindication. Now, let's look at the physical cost. Anger is an acid. It inflames your body. It keeps your cortisol levels high, which destroys your immune system, disrupts your sleep, and fogs your brain. You are literally aging yourself faster by holding on to this grudge. Look in the mirror. Look at the lines on your face. How many of them were carved by stress over things you cannot change?
You are sacrificing your physical vessel for a memory. Is their betrayal worth your health? Is their mistake worth your heart attack? But I can't just let it go. It's too big. You are not letting it go. You are letting yourself go. You are unhooking your flesh from the barbed wire. The wire stays there. The event happened. You were just choosing to stop tearing your skin on it. We also need to address the secondary gain of being a victim. There is a dark, seductive comfort in being the one who was wronged. It gives you an identity. It gives you a story to tell at parties. It attracts sympathy. Poor me, look what I survived. If you heal, you lose that attention. If you forgive, you lose the moral high ground. You become just another person, responsible for your own life with no one to blame for your unhappiness. Many people cling to resentment because they are terrified of owning their own mediocrity. It is convenient to say, I would be successful if my parents hadn't messed me up. I would be happy if my ex hadn't ruined my trust. Resentment is the perfect excuse. It is a universal get-out-of-jail-free card for your own lack of progress. As long as you are the victim, you don't have to try. You have to be brave enough to give up your excuse. You have to be willing to say, yes, they hurt me. Yes, it was unfair. And now it is my job to fix it. It is not your fault that you were wounded, but it is 100% your responsibility to heal. If someone hits you with their car, it is their fault. But if you sit on the pavement bleeding and refuse to go to the hospital until they apologize, you are the one who will die. You have to get up. You have to limp to the hospital. You have to do the rehab. Is it fair? No. Is it necessary? Yes. Let's practice the mechanics of release. You cannot force forgiveness. You cannot grit your teeth and say, "I forgive you." It doesn't work. Forgiveness is a byproduct of understanding and exhaustion. You eventually get tired of the weight. Try this visualization. Imagine the person who hurt you is standing in front of you. Imagine there is a thick black rope connecting your chest to theirs. Through this rope, your energy flows to them. Every time you think about them, you pump life force through that rope. They are feeding on you. Now, imagine a giant pair of shears in your hands. You are not attacking them, you are simply cutting the rope. Visualize the rope snapping. Watch the loose end recoil back into your chest. Feel your energy returning to you. Watch them drift away, untethered. They are no longer your problem. They are just a stranger floating in the universe. Do this every time the anger rises. Cut the rope. Not my circus, not my monkeys. You must also forgive yourself. Often, our anger at others is a projection of our anger at ourselves. We are angry that we were naive. We are angry that we stayed too long. We are angry that we gave our love to someone who threw it away. You are punishing yourself for not being clairvoyant. You are beating yourself up for not knowing the future. Stop it. You made the best decision you could with the information you had. You trusted because you are a good person. Do not let their toxicity convince you that your goodness was a mistake. The mistake was theirs. The betrayal was theirs. Your capacity to love and trust is a superpower. Do not destroy it just because one person abused it. That is like smashing your car because you hit a pothole. Fix the tire, keep driving. Beware of the revenge fantasy. You spend hours imagining how you will get back at them, how you will succeed and rub it in their face. This seems motivational, but it is still a trap. If your success is driven by the desire to prove them wrong, they still own you. They are still the central character in your movie. You want to reach a place where you succeed because you want to succeed, and whether they see it or not is irrelevant. True revenge is not harming them. True revenge is living a life so beautiful, so complete, and so vibrant that you simply forget they exist. The poison only works if you swallow it. Spit it out. There's a beautiful ancient story about two monks. They are walking by a river and see a woman who needs help crossing. Monks are forbidden to touch women. The older monk picks her up, carries her across, and sets her down. The two monks walk in silence for hours. Finally, the younger monk explodes. "How could you do that? You broke the vows. You touched her." The older monk smiles and says, "Brother, I put that woman down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" You are the younger monk. The event is over. The river is miles back. Why are you still carrying the burden? Put it down. Your arms are cramping. Your back is breaking, and the person you were carrying doesn't even know they are being carried. Drop the load. Watch how fast you can run when you aren't carrying a corpse. There is a lightness waiting for you. It is the feeling of waking up in the morning with a mind that is yours again, a mind that is not an occupied territory. Reclaim your territory. Evict the tenants, change the locks. This is your mind. This is your life. No one has the right to destroy it but you, and you are done destroying it. The wound will scar. That is inevitable. But a scar is just a mark of where you used to be hurt. It is not an open wound unless you keep picking at it. Let it scab. Let it heal. Let it become tough skin. And then move on. Chapter 5. Funeral for a Former Self. There is a biological truth that you often ignore. You are not a static object. You are a process. Every 7 to 10 years, almost every cell in your body is replaced. You are physically not the same person you were a decade ago. Your skin is new, your blood is new, your bones are remodeled. Nature understands that in order to survive, it must constantly regenerate. It must discard the dead matter to make room for the living. And yet, psychologically, you are trying to wear the same skin you were born in. You are walking around in a suit of armor that is 3 sizes too small. It is pinching you. It is suffocating you. You can't breathe. You can't move freely, and you are wondering why you're in so much pain. The pain is not the world crushing you. The pain is your own growth pushing against a rigid identity you refuse to shed. To move forward, you must do something terrifying. You must attend a funeral. And the person in the casket is you. We are now entering the phase of identity release. This is often the most difficult part of letting go because it feels like suicide. It feels like you are killing yourself. But you are not killing yourself. You are killing a version of yourself that has served its purpose and expired. We cling to our identities because they provide safety. I am the funny one. I am the dependable one. I am the successful businessman. I am the victim. These are costumes. You put them on years ago because they helped you navigate a specific social environment or survive a specific trauma. But look at your life now. The environment has changed. The trauma is over, yet you are still wearing the costume. You are wearing a winter coat in the middle of summer and complaining about the heat. The you that you are protecting is a ghost. Consider the people-pleaser identity. Maybe you developed this as a child to keep the peace in a volatile household. It was a survival mechanism. It was brilliant. It kept you safe. But now you are 35 years old, running a department or raising a family, and that same identity is destroying you. It is making you say yes when you mean no. It is making you resentful. It is making you weak. You have to thank the people-pleaser for their service. They saved you when you were small, but they cannot lead you now that you are big. You have to retire them. You have to bury them. This process is painful because it often involves the loss of other people. This is the dark secret of self-growth that no one puts on a motivational poster. When you change, you will lose friends. You have people in your life who love you, but you need to ask a hard question. Do they love you, or do they love the role you play for them? If you are the fixer in your friend group, your friends love that you fix their problems. If you decide to stop being the fixer and start focusing on your own life, they will not applaud you. They will be angry. They will say you have changed. They will say you are being selfish. They are not reacting to your new behavior. They are reacting to the inconvenience of your growth. You have broken the contract. You are no longer playing your part in their play. This is the crab bucket mentality. When one crab tries to climb out of the bucket, the other crabs don't cheer. They pull it back down. They don't do this out of malice. They do it out of instinct. Your freedom highlights their imprisonment. Your growth highlights their stagnation. You will have to make a choice. Do you want to be popular in the bucket, or do you want to be free? You cannot take everyone with you. This is a hard truth. Some people are anchored to your past self. They only know how to relate to the old you. If you bring them into your future, they will subconsciously try to drag you back to the old patterns because that is where they are comfortable. You have to let them go. It doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you make a scene. It just means you stop apologizing for evolving. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into their limited perception of who you are. Now, let's talk about the sunk cost of your own ego. You have spent years building a reputation. Maybe you are known as the party animal. You are the life of the party. Everyone expects you to be wild. But inside, you are tired. You want to stay home. You want to read. You want peace. But you feel an obligation to the brand. You think, if I stop partying, I will be boring. I will be nobody. So you go out, you drink the drinks, you fake the laugh. You are performing a caricature of yourself for an audience that doesn't really care about you. You are a slave to your own press release. Killing the party animal version of yourself requires the courage to be boring. It requires the courage to say, that part of my life is a closed chapter. Or maybe you are the high achiever. You define your worth by your productivity. You have spent 20 years grinding, climbing, and conquering, but now you feel empty. You crave connection, nature, and stillness, but your ego screams, if you stop grinding, you're a failure. You will lose your edge. That voice is the voice of the old self. It is fighting for its life. The ego does not want to die. It will use fear, guilt, and shame to keep you in the box. You must realize that you are not your job. You are not your relationship status. You are not your bank account. You are not your past trauma. These are things you experience, not things you are. You are the consciousness behind the experience. You are the sky. These things are just the weather. The weather changes. Storms come, sun shines, snow falls, but the sky remains. You have to identify with the sky, not the clouds. So how do we hold this funeral? It needs to be a conscious, deliberate act. You can do it literally. Write a eulogy for the person you used to be. Here lies the version of me who needed everyone to like him. He was kind, he was gentle, but he was afraid. We honor him. We thank him for getting us this far, but he cannot go where we are going next. Rest in peace. Read it aloud. Burn the paper. There will be a period of grief. You will feel sad. You will feel a strange emptiness. This is called the void. The void is the space between trapezes. You have let go of the old bar, but you haven't caught the new one yet. You are floating in midair. This is where most people panic. They look down, see the abyss, and try to scramble back to the old bar. They go back to the toxic ex. They go back to the soul-sucking job. They go back to the bad habits. Not because they like them, but because the void is terrifying. You must learn to sit in the void. The void is not empty, it is fertile. It is the womb of creation. You cannot build a new house until you have cleared the old lot. That time of emptiness, of not knowing who you are, is essential. It is the time when your soul is recalibrating. Do not rush to fill the silence with noise. Do not rush to find a new label just because being undefined makes you anxious. Be undefined for a while. Be a mystery to yourself. Who am I if I am not a lawyer, mother, victim, athlete? You are about to find out. This process also requires you to forgive your younger self. We often look back at our cringe phases with shame. We hate the person we were at 20. We hate the person we were in that bad relationship. We want to erase them. But you cannot hate yourself into a better version. You have to love the fool you were, because that fool was trying to learn. That fool took the hits so you could have the wisdom you have today. Imagine your younger self standing in front of you. They look scared. They don't know what you know. They are making mistakes because they are blind. Don't yell at them. Hug them. Tell them, it's okay. I've got it from here. You can rest now. Integrating your shadow is part of the funeral. You are not killing the energy of the past. You are transmuting it. If you were an angry, aggressive young man, you don't have to become a passive doormat. You bury the uncontrolled aggression, but you keep the drive. You keep the fire. You just use it to build instead of burn. If you were a chaotic, impulsive artist, you don't have to become a robot. You bury the self-destruction, but you keep the creativity. You are distilling yourself. You are boiling down the liquid until only the essence remains. The impurities, the fears, the insecurities, the need for validation evaporate. What is left is potent. What is left is real. There is a Japanese concept called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The cracks are not hidden, they are highlighted. The object becomes more beautiful because it has been broken. Your new self is the kintsugi vessel. You are not trying to be the pristine, untouched vase you were at 18. That vase is shattered. Good. It was fragile anyway. The new you is held together by the gold of your wisdom. You are stronger at the broken places. But you cannot be this new vessel if you are still carrying the shards of the old one in your pocket, cutting your fingers every time you reach for your keys. Drop the shards. Letting go of an identity also means letting go of the need to be right about your life story. We tell ourselves stories to make sense of our pain. I am the black sheep. I am the one who always gets left.
I am the one who has to work twice as hard. These stories are comfortable blankets, but they are suffocating you. They are self-fulfilling prophecies. If you believe you are the one who always gets left, you will subconsciously pick partners who will leave you, just to prove yourself right. The ego loves to be right more than it loves to be happy. Burn the script. Wake up tomorrow and decide to be someone else. This is the ultimate freedom of the human experience. You do not have to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. You are under no obligation to be consistent. If you've been a pessimist for 30 years, you can decide today, I am now an optimist. People will look at you weirdly. They will say, that's not you. Smile and say, it is now. You have the power to rewrite your source code. But first, you have to hit delete on the old program. You cannot run Windows 11 on a computer that is still trying to run MS-DOS. The system will crash. The funeral for your former self is a celebration. It is a graduation. Do not wear black. Wear white. Stand at the grave of your past. Look at the headstone. Read the epitaph. Here lies the person I thought I had to be. Lay a flower, say a prayer, and turn your back. Walk away from the cemetery. Don't look back. The dead do not need you. The living do. The future is waiting for you to show up, but it is waiting for the real you, the stripped-down, honest, raw version of you. Not the actor, not the pretender, not the ghost. Step out of the graveyard and into the sun. The air is different here. It is thinner, but it is cleaner. Take a deep breath. This is your first breath as a free man. This is your first breath as a free woman. Welcome to your life. Chapter 6. The Art of Subtraction. We live in a culture of more. From the moment you are born, you are programmed to accumulate. You are taught that success means addition. More money, more friends, more credentials, more clothes, more gadgets, more responsibilities. You spend the first half of your life collecting things like a squirrel preparing for a winter that never ends. You fill your house, you fill your calendar, and you fill your mind. And then you wonder why you can't move. You are buried under the weight of your own accumulation. You are suffocating in a life that is stuffed to the brim with the non-essential. You are trying to find peace, but you are looking for it by adding another activity like meditation or yoga to a schedule that is already breaking your back. You are trying to solve the problem of too much by adding one more thing. This is a fundamental error in logic. You cannot cure obesity by eating healthy food on top of your junk food. You have to stop eating the junk. You cannot cure anxiety by adding relaxation techniques on top of a chaotic life. You have to subtract the chaos. This chapter is about the art of subtraction. It is about the ancient principle of via negativa, improvement by removal. Michelangelo was once asked how he created his masterpiece, the Statue of David. He replied, "It is easy. I just chip away the stone that doesn't look like David." The masterpiece was already there. It was just hidden under the excess stone. You are the masterpiece, but you are hidden under layers of rock that you have plastered onto yourself over the years. The bad habits, the toxic relationships, the physical clutter, the digital noise, the useless obligations. To find yourself, you do not need to learn anything new. You do not need to find yourself. You are not lost. You are just buried. You need to chip away the stone. Let's begin with your physical environment. Look around the room you are in right now. Look at your desk, your closet, your garage. How much of this stuff do you actually use? How much of it brings you genuine value? And how much of it is just there? Physical clutter is mental noise.
Every object in your field of vision demands a micro-fraction of your attention. Your brain has to register it, identify it, and decide to ignore it. When you are surrounded by hundreds of useless objects, your brain is running a constant background process of filtration. This drains your battery. You are holding on to things because of fear. You keep the old cables just in case. You keep the clothes that don't fit just in case. You keep the broken toaster just in case. Just in case is the mantra of the scarcity mindset. It is a signal to the universe that you do not trust your ability to provide for yourself in the future. You are betting against your own competence. You are saying, I might need this broken toaster because I might be too poor or too stupid to get a new one if the need arises. Stop betting against yourself. There is also the sentimental trap. You keep the ugly vase your aunt gave you because you feel guilty throwing it away. You are turning your home into a museum of guilt. You are letting other people's expectations colonize your living space. If an object does not serve a purpose or bring you joy, it is stealing from you. It is stealing space, it is stealing mental energy, and it is stealing peace. Be ruthless. Walk through your house with a trash bag. If you haven't used it in a year, it's gone. If it's broken, it's gone. If you are keeping it out of obligation, it's gone. Notice the physical sensation in your chest as you throw things away. At first, there is panic. What if I regret this? But then, as the bag fills up, there is a strange lightness. The room opens up. The air circulates better. Your mind clears. You are reclaiming your territory. Now, let's move to the harder subtraction, your calendar. Most people wear their busyness like a badge of honor. When you ask someone how they are, they sigh and say, "Oh, I'm just so busy." They say it with a mix of exhaustion and pride. They believe that being busy equates to being important. This is a lie. Being busy is often a form of laziness, lazy thinking, and indiscriminate action. It is easy to say yes to everything. It is easy to fill your day with low-leverage activity so you don't have to do the hard work of prioritizing. You are likely suffering from the yes disease. You say yes to the coffee meeting you don't want to attend. You say yes to the project that doesn't align with your goals. You say yes to the social event that bores you. Every time you say yes to something minor, you are saying no to something major. You are saying no to your rest. You are saying no to your passion project. You are saying no to your family. You cannot have it all. Time is a zero-sum game. You have 24 hours. That is the only non-negotiable limit in the universe. You cannot buy more time. You need to perform a calendar audit. Look at your last 2 weeks. Highlight the things that actually moved the needle on your life goals or brought you deep satisfaction. Now look at the rest, the filler, the obligations, the shoulds. You have to start saying no. And you have to do it without apology. No, I can't make it. No, I don't have the bandwidth for that right now. No. You don't need to offer an excuse. You don't need to lie and say you have a dentist appointment. No is a complete sentence. People might be disappointed. Let them be disappointed. Their disappointment is not your emergency. You are not on this planet to manage the emotional states of other people. You are here to fulfill your purpose. If you burn yourself out trying to please everyone, you serve no one. A dead battery charges nothing. The art of subtraction applies most critically to the digital world. You are drowning in information. You are consuming more data in a single day than your ancestors consumed in a lifetime. You wake up and immediately plug your brain into the hive mind. You scroll through the lives of strangers, the outrage of the day, the endless stream of content. You think you are staying informed. You are not. You are being programmed. The news is designed to keep you in a state of chronic anxiety. Social media is designed to keep you in a state of chronic envy and inadequacy. The algorithm does not care about your mental health. It cares about your attention. It will show you whatever keeps your eyes glued to the screen, even if it makes you miserable.
You are voluntarily carrying a slot machine in your pocket. You check it every 5 minutes, pulling the lever, hoping for a dopamine hit, a like, a message, a notification. This is an addiction, and it is destroying your ability to focus. You cannot write a book, build a business, or have a deep conversation if your brain is fragmented into 8-second attention spans. You must subtract the noise. Turn off the notifications, all of them. Unless you are an emergency room surgeon, nothing on your phone is urgent. The email can wait, the text can wait. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel bad. Subtraction is about curation. If you follow fitness models that make you hate your body, unfollow them. If you follow political pundits that make you angry, unfollow them. Protect your input. Your mind is a factory. If you shovel garbage into the intake, you will get garbage out of the exhaust. If you consume anxiety, you will produce anxiety. If you consume distraction, you will produce mediocrity. Silence is the ultimate luxury. Rich people buy quiet. They buy houses far away from the noise. They buy cars that block out the road sound. You can buy quiet for free by simply turning off the devices. Sit in a room with no phone, no TV, no music. Just you. It will be uncomfortable. You will feel the itch to check something. You will feel the boredom rising. Good. Boredom is the precursor to creativity. Boredom is the mind's way of clearing the cache. When you stop consuming, you can finally start creating. Now, we must address the subtraction of goals. This sounds counterintuitive. Aren't we supposed to have goals? Yes, but you have too many. You are trying to learn Spanish, run a marathon, start a business, be a perfect parent, and learn to play the guitar all at the same time. This is the confetti approach to life. You are tearing your energy into tiny little pieces and throwing them in every direction. You make a millimeter of progress in 20 directions instead of a mile of progress in one direction. You need to use the 25-by-5 rule, often attributed to Warren Buffett. Write down your top 25 goals. Circle the top 5. Now take the other 20 and put them on a avoid at all costs list. The other 20 are not your backup goals, they are your enemies. They are the distractions. They are the things that are just interesting enough to steal your time from the top 5, but not important enough to change your life. Subtraction means killing your darlings. It means admitting, I will probably never learn to play the guitar, and that is okay. It means mourning the potential lives you could have lived so you can fully live the one you are actually in. Focus is the art of subtraction. Focus is not looking at the thing you are doing. Focus is ignoring the million things you could be doing. Finally, we apply subtraction to your habits using the stop doing list. Self-help advice is usually about starting new habits. Start waking up at 5 a.m., start journaling, start lifting weights. But it is much easier and more effective to stop doing the things that are destroying you. If you want to be healthy, you don't need to start a complex diet, you just need to stop drinking soda. If you want to be wealthy, you don't need to find a brilliant investment, you just need to stop spending more than you earn. If you want to be happy, you don't need to start a gratitude practice, you just need to stop complaining. Inversion is a powerful mental model. Instead of asking, how do I succeed? Ask, how do I ensure failure? And then don't do that. How do you ensure a miserable life? Stay up late, eat processed food, hang out with negative people, spend all your money, and never exercise. Okay, so subtract those things. If you just removed the 3 most destructive habits from your life, you would automatically float to the surface. You are currently holding beach balls underwater. You are using all your energy to keep your bad habits submerged. If you just let them go, if you just stopped engaging with them, your natural buoyancy would take over. The art of subtraction is about trust. You are afraid that if you subtract, you will be empty. You are afraid that if you are not busy, you are not valuable. You are afraid that if you don't own things, you are poor. But the opposite is true. Space is value.
Silence is power. Stillness is strength. Think of a room packed with furniture. You can't walk through it. It feels small. It feels oppressive. Now remove half the furniture. Suddenly, the room feels huge. It feels elegant. It feels breathable. You didn't add square footage to the house. You just revealed the space that was already there. You have a massive, expansive consciousness. You have a deep well of creativity. You have a natural state of joy. But it is packed floor to ceiling with mental furniture. Start moving it out. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. Pick one area of your life today, just one. Maybe it is your wardrobe. Maybe it is your email inbox. Maybe it is your toxic friendship. Maybe it is your nightly news habit. Subtract it. Cut it out. Do not replace it immediately. Let the empty space sit there. Feel the wind blow through the hole you just made. That is the feeling of freedom. Freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. Freedom is the ability to not do what you don't want. Freedom is the absence of obligation. Freedom is the absence of noise. The less you carry, the faster you travel. The less you speak, the more you are heard. The less you want, the more you have. This is the paradox of the empty hand. An open, empty hand can receive the world. A closed, full fist can receive nothing. Open your hand. Let the junk fall out. Let the noise fade. Let the stone chips fall to the floor. Chapter 7. Surrender is not defeat. In the dictionary of the modern world, surrender is a dirty word. It sits right next to failure, loss, and weakness. You are taught from birth to never surrender. You are taught to fight until the bitter end. You are raised on a diet of war metaphors. Battle your demons, conquer your fear, beat the odds, fight for your life. We view life as a hostile territory that must be subdued. We believe that if we are not struggling, we are not trying. We believe that ease is suspicious. If something comes easily, we think we didn't earn it. We glorify the grind, the blood, and the sweat. But this military mindset is destroying you. You are not at war with life. You are life. You cannot fight the wave if you are made of water. This chapter is about the great paradox of the human experience. To win, you must give up. Not give up on your goals, not give up on your life, but give up the struggle. Give up the tension. Give up the fight against the current. Surrender is not a white flag of defeat. It is the wisdom to stop banging your head against a wall and instead walk through the door. Imagine you are swimming in the ocean. Suddenly, you are caught in a riptide. The current is dragging you away from the shore at 5 miles per hour. Your instinct, your panic response, is to fight. You turn toward the shore and you swim as hard as you can. You kick, you scream, you thrash. But you can only swim 3 miles per hour. The ocean is stronger than you. It is simple math. The harder you fight, the faster you drown. You exhaust your oxygen. Your muscles fail. You panic, and the ocean swallows you. To survive a riptide, you must do the one thing that feels completely counterintuitive. You must surrender to the pull. You have to float. You have to let the current take you out. You have to relax your body and conserve your energy. Only when you are out of the turbulent zone do you swim parallel to the shore and come back in. Fighting kills you. Surrender saves you. Most of you are currently fighting a riptide. You are fighting a reality that is stronger than your will. You are fighting a job loss, a breakup, a health crisis, or just the passage of time. You are thrashing against the inevitable, and you are drowning. Surrender is the act of realizing that you are not the general of the universe. There is a concept in ancient Chinese philosophy called Wu Wei. It translates roughly to non-action or effortless action. This is often misunderstood by the Western mind as laziness. We think, if I don't act, nothing will get done. But Wu Wei is not about doing nothing. It is about doing nothing that goes against the nature of things. It is the difference between rowing a boat and sailing. When you row, you are using your own limited muscular energy to force the boat through the water. It is hard. It is slow. You get tired. When you sail,
You are using the energy of the wind. You are surrendering to a force much greater than yourself. You are not passive. You are steering, you are adjusting the sails, you are alert, but you are not providing the power. The universe provides the power. You provide the direction. Surrender is hoisting the sail. Why is this so hard for us? Because the ego loves resistance. The ego defines itself by what it pushes against. I am the one who is fighting this problem. If you stop fighting, the ego asks, who am I? The ego believes that worry is a form of control. It believes that tension is a form of strength. It thinks that if you relax, everything will fall apart. But look at the times in your life when things actually worked out. Did they happen because you were stressed out of your mind, or did they happen when you finally let go? Think about falling asleep. You cannot force yourself to fall asleep. You cannot try hard to sleep. Trying to sleep is the very thing that keeps you awake. To sleep, you must surrender. You must let go of the day. You must trust that it is safe to close your eyes. Sleep is an act of submission. Think about falling in love. You cannot force it. You cannot negotiate it. You fall. It happens to you. The best things in life are not conquered. They are received. There is a crucial distinction we must make between surrender and resignation. Resignation is heavy. It is giving up. It is saying, I can't do anything, so I guess I'll just rot. Resignation is accompanied by bitterness and despair. It is the feeling of a victim. Surrender is light. It is active. It is saying, I cannot control the waves, so I will learn to surf. Surrender is accompanied by clarity and peace. It is the stance of a master. Resignation looks at the rain and says, my day is ruined. This is unfair. Surrender looks at the rain and says, okay, it's raining. I will grab an umbrella. Do you see the difference? Resignation argues with reality. Surrender accepts reality so it can navigate it effectively. You cannot navigate a map if you refuse to admit where you are. If you are in the forest but you insist you are in the city, you will never find your way out. Surrender is looking at the trees and admitting, I am in the forest. Once you admit that, you can start looking for a path. Surrender is also the antidote to writer's block or life block. When you are trying to force a creative idea, it hides. You stare at the blank page, you clench your jaw, you demand brilliance from your brain. Nothing comes. But when do the ideas come? When you are in the shower, when you are driving, when you're walking the dog. Why? Because you surrendered. You stopped pointing the gun at your own head. You relaxed the focus, and in that space of relaxation, the answer was able to bubble up. The universe is constantly trying to give you gifts, but your hands are too tight to receive them. You are clenching your fists around your plan. My life has to look like this. I have to be married by 30. I have to make $1 million by 40. You are holding on to the blueprint so tightly that you're missing the building. Maybe the universe is trying to give you something better than your plan. Maybe the job you lost was a trap, and the firing was a rescue. Maybe the relationship that ended was suffocating you, and the heartbreak was a breath of fresh air. But you can't see that if you are still screaming at the blueprint. Surrender requires a fundamental shift in trust. You have to trust that you will be okay, even if things don't go your way. This is the scariest card. We are control freaks because we don't trust ourselves. We think, if I don't micromanage this situation, I won't be able to handle the outcome. But you can handle the outcome. You have handled every single difficulty in your life up to this point. You are batting 1,000. You have survived 100% of your bad days. Why do you think the next one will kill you? Trusting the process means understanding that chaos is often the precursor to order. If you want to renovate a kitchen, you have to demo it first. You have to rip out the cabinets, smash the tile, and disconnect the pipes. For a few weeks, your kitchen looks like a disaster zone. If you didn't know better, you would think you ruined your house. But the destruction is necessary for the creation. Your life is in renovation. The chaos you are feeling, the confusion, the loss, the uncertainty, is the demolition phase. Do not panic. Do not try to glue the old tiles back on. Let the space be cleared. Surrender is the judo of the mind. In boxing, force meets force. If a big opponent punches you, you block it. It hurts. You get tired. In judo, if a big opponent pushes you, you pull him. You use his own momentum to throw him. You do not oppose the force, you redirect it. When life pushes you, don't push back. Pivot. If you lose your job, don't fight the reality of being unemployed. Don't waste energy being angry at the boss. Pivot. Use the momentum. Okay, I'm free. What can I do with this freedom?
What skills can I learn? Where can I go? Turn the obstacle into the path. But you can only do this if you are loose. A rigid body breaks. A fluid body adapts. Let's talk about the specific practice of letting the chips fall. We are terrified of the chips falling. We try to catch them in midair. We run around trying to organize the outcome before it happens. Step back. Let the chips fall. Watch where they land. It is only when the chips have landed that you can see the new pattern. You cannot organize a falling house of cards. Let it collapse. Then look at the pile. Maybe the pile forms a shape you couldn't have built on your own. There is a profound peace in realizing that you don't have to fix everything. You don't have to fix your parents. You don't have to fix the world. You don't even have to fix your own emotions. If you feel sad, surrender to the sadness. Don't analyze it. Don't medicate it. Don't run from it. Just sit in it. I am sad. When you surrender to an emotion, you acknowledge it. And strangely, once an emotion is fully acknowledged, it tends to evaporate. It is the resistance to sadness that creates depression. It is the resistance to anxiety that creates panic attacks. If you are anxious, say to yourself, I am anxious. My heart is racing. That is okay. I am safe. Watch what happens. The anxiety loses its teeth. You have stopped fighting it, so it has nothing to push against. This applies to your goals as well. There is a delicate balance between intention and surrender. Intention is aiming the arrow. You look at the target. You pull back the bow. You use your skill, your strength, and your focus. Surrender is releasing the string. Once the arrow leaves your hand, it is gone. You cannot steer it. The wind will take it. Gravity will take it. Many people refuse to release the string. They stand there, aiming forever, terrified to miss. Or they release the string and then run after the arrow, trying to push it into the bullseye. Shoot the arrow. Then stand still. If it hits, good. If it misses, adjust your aim and shoot again. But do not attach your self-worth to the trajectory of the arrow. Surrender means detaching your happiness from the result. I will be happy if I get the promotion. No, that is a contract for misery. I will do my best work. If I get the promotion, great. If I don't, I will find another way to grow. That is freedom. That is unshakable. The ultimate surrender is to the timing of your life. We are impatient. We want the fruit before the tree has even flowered. We scream at the seed, grow faster. Nature does not rush, yet everything is accomplished. You cannot force the season. You cannot force the harvest in winter. You have to respect the cycle. If you are in a winter period of your life, a time of quiet, of darkness, of dormancy, surrender to it. Don't try to force a summer. Rest, hibernate, sharpen your tools, reflect. The spring will come. It always does. But it will come on its own time, not yours. When you stop fighting the timing of your life, the pressure in your chest releases. You realize you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. You are in the process. Think of a river. You are in a kayak. The river is flowing downstream toward the ocean. You can turn the kayak around and paddle upstream. You can fight the current. You can scream, I don't want to go that way. You will make zero progress. You will burn out, and eventually the river will take you anyway. Or you can turn the kayak downstream. You can put your paddle in the water only to steer around the rocks. You can watch the scenery. You can move fast with zero effort. The river is reality. The river is truth. Stop paddling upstream. Turn the boat. Feel the rush of acceleration when you finally align your will with the flow of events. Surrender is not about losing. It is about joining the winning team. The universe is the winning team. Reality is undefeated. Join it. Say the magic words, I don't know. I don't know what will happen next, and that is okay. I don't know how I will solve this, but I trust that I will. When you admit you don't know, you become teachable. When you empty your cup, it can be filled. Defeat is when you are beaten by the enemy. Surrender is when you stop being your own enemy. Put down the sword. It's heavy. You don't need it. The war is over. You can come home now. Chapter 8. The Death of Anxiety. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. It is the vertigo you feel when you stand at the edge of a cliff. The cliff is not moving. The ground is solid. You are not falling. Yet, your heart hammers, your palms sweat, and your mind screams. You are not afraid of slipping. You are afraid that you might jump. You are afraid of the sheer magnitude of possibilities in front of you. We have spent the last 7 chapters dismantling the chains of the past. You have let go of control. You have buried your old self. You have subtracted the noise. You are now standing in a wide-open field. And for many of you, this is the most terrifying moment of all. Because when the walls come down, the wind blows. When the cage is opened, you have to decide where to fly. And that responsibility breeds a specific vibrating frequency of terror we call anxiety. In this chapter, we are going to kill it. We are not going to manage it. We are not going to cope with it. We are going to deconstruct the machinery that creates it so you can turn it off. First, you must understand what anxiety actually is. Anxiety is not a virus. It is not an external attack. Anxiety is your own imagination turned against you. You're using the most powerful tool in the universe, the human creative mind, to design intricate torture chambers for yourself. You are writing horror movies where you are the star, the victim, and the cameraman. You project these movies onto the screen of the future, and then you react to them as if they are documentaries. Anxiety is the experience of suffering a future that has not happened yet. You are sitting in a comfortable chair. The room is warm. You are safe. But in your mind, you are homeless. In your mind, you are fired. In your mind, your spouse has left you. Your body does not know the difference between the chair and the fantasy, so it dumps adrenaline into your blood. It tightens your chest. It prepares you to fight a tiger that isn't there. This is a glitch in your software. Your brain is a prediction machine. It evolved to keep you alive in a world full of predators. It is constantly scanning the horizon, asking, what is that shape? Is it a lion? Is it a bear? In the modern world, there are no lions, there are no bears. So your brain scans the horizon of your life, your emails, your bank account, your social status, and it hallucinates monsters. What if I said the wrong thing? What if the economy crashes? The what if is the heartbeat of anxiety. What if? This phrase is a trapdoor. The moment you step on it, you fall into the abyss. What if is unanswerable because it creates a fictional problem. You cannot solve a fictional problem with real solutions. What if I lose my job? Well, you haven't lost it, so you can't solve the job loss. You can only sit there and tremble at the image of it. To kill anxiety, you must understand the geography of time. Anxiety lives exclusively in the future. Regret lives exclusively in the past. Peace lives exclusively in the present. You cannot be anxious in the present moment. It is physically impossible. Test this right now. Look at your hand. Look at the wall. Listen to the hum of the room. In this exact microsecond, is there a tiger biting your leg? Is there a foreclosure sign on your chest? No. In this exact second, you are just a person breathing. The only way to introduce suffering into this moment is to leave it. You have to mentally travel to tomorrow to find something to be afraid of. The death of anxiety requires a radical commitment to the now. This sounds like spiritual fluff, but it is tactical warfare. When you feel the panic rising, it means you have drifted. You have floated out of your body and into a timeline that doesn't exist. You need to come back. You need to ground. Grounding is not just thinking happy thoughts, it is a physical act. You have to drag your consciousness back into your biological vessel. Use the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. It is simple, stupid, and effective because it forces your brain to switch processing modes. Acknowledge 5 things you can see. I see a lamp. I see a crack in the wall. I see my shoe. Acknowledge 4 things you can touch. I feel the denim of my jeans. I feel the cool desk. I feel the warmth of the coffee mug. Acknowledge 3 things you can hear. Acknowledge 2 things you can smell. Acknowledge 1 thing you can taste. Why does this work? Because your brain cannot hallucinate a disaster while it is busy processing sensory data. You are forcing the CPU to switch from imagination mode to observation mode. You are telling your lizard brain, look, we are here. The predator is not here. We are touching a desk. Desks are safe. When you ground yourself, you cut the fuel line to the anxiety engine. The engine might sputter for a few minutes. The adrenaline takes time to metabolize, but the fire goes out. The second tool for killing anxiety is the observer self. You believe you are your thoughts. You think that when a voice in your head says you are going to fail, that it is you speaking the truth. It is not. It is just a thought. Thoughts are like traffic. You are standing on the side of the road watching the cars go by. Some cars are beautiful, happy thoughts. Some cars are ugly, rusted, and loud, anxious thoughts. Most people see an ugly car, an anxiety thought, and jump in front of it. They grab the bumper. They get dragged down the highway screaming. The observer stands on the sidewalk. They see the ugly car labeled, "I'm going to die alone." They watch it approach. They watch it pass. They watch it disappear around the bend. They do not engage. You must learn to label your thoughts. When the panic starts, do not say, "I am anxious." That identifies you with the emotion. It makes it your state of being. Say, "I am noticing a thought about failure. I am noticing a physical sensation of tightness in my chest." Do you hear the distance? I am noticing. You are the sky. The anxiety is a cloud. The cloud is dark. It looks scary. It might rain. But the cloud is not the sky. The sky contains the cloud, but it is not damaged by it. The sky is vast, permanent, and untouched. Be the sky. Let the storm rage. Let the thoughts scream. Do not argue with them. Do not try to silence them. Just watch them. Wow, look at that one. That's a really scary thought. My brain is really creative today. When you stop fighting the anxiety, you starve it. Anxiety feeds on resistance. It feeds on your fear of it. Oh no, I'm getting anxious. That fear creates more adrenaline, which creates more anxiety. It is a feedback loop. Break the loop by saying, okay, I'm anxious. So what? Invite it in. Come on, anxiety, do your worst. Make my heart beat faster. Make me sweat. Is that all you got? When you call its bluff, it vanishes. It's a bully. It only has power when you cower. We must also address the control freak aspect of anxiety. Anxiety is often an arrogance. It is the belief that if you think about a problem hard enough, you can control the outcome. You think that your worry is a protective shield. You think, if I worry about my children, they will be safe. This is magical thinking. Your worry does not protect your children. Your worry just makes you a less present, less effective parent. You have to accept the terrified truth. You are not in control. Disaster could strike. You could get sick. You could lose everything. This is the dizziness of freedom. Anything can happen. The anxious person tries to build a fortress against anything. The free person accepts anything and trusts their ability to handle it. This is the shift from fragility to anti-fragility. Fragile things break under stress. A vase is fragile. Resilient things resist stress. A rock is resilient. Anti-fragile things get stronger under stress. A muscle is anti-fragile. The immune system is anti-fragile. You are anti-fragile. You are designed to handle chaos. Your ancestors survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and famines. You have the blood of survivors in your veins. Anxiety lies to you and tells you that you are weak. It tells you that if the worst happens, you will crumble. Look at your history. You have been through hell before. Did you crumble? No. You adapted. You learned. You grew. You are still here. Stop betting against your own resilience. If the worst happens, you will figure it out. You will not be solving the problem with your current, tired, anxious brain. You will be solving it with your adrenaline-fueled, survival mode, high-performance brain. You will rise to the occasion. You don't need to solve tomorrow's problems today. You don't have tomorrow's resources yet. You don't have tomorrow's strength yet. Wait until tomorrow comes. The strength will be there when you need it, not a moment before. Another major source of anxiety is the open loop. The human brain hates unfinished tasks. It will hold on to them, spinning them in the background. If you have 10 unfinished projects, 5 unmade phone calls, and a messy house, your brain is running 10 background programs that are eating your RAM. This creates a low-level hum of anxiety. Close the loops. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. Wash the dish, send the text, file the paper. If you can't do it now, write it down. Writing is an act of exorcism. When you write a worry down, you move it from the fluid, chaotic realm of the mind to the solid, static realm of paper. You trap it. Your brain knows it can stop remembering the task because the paper is remembering it for you. Keep a worry journal. When you can't sleep because your mind is racing, turn on the light. Write down every single thing you are worried about. Vomit it onto the page. Then close the book. Tell your brain, it is written down, we can deal with it in the morning, now we sleep. Finally, we must talk about the relationship between anxiety and action. Anxiety creates paralysis. Paralysis creates more anxiety. Action kills anxiety. You cannot be anxious while you are sprinting. You cannot be anxious while you are lifting a heavy weight. You cannot be anxious while you are deeply engaged in solving a complex puzzle. Anxiety lives in the gap between the stimulus and the response. It lives in the hesitation. If you are worried about a difficult phone call, staring at the phone feeds the beast. Every second you wait, the beast grows. Pick up the phone, dial. The moment you are in the action, the anxiety evaporates. Now you are just dealing with reality. Reality is manageable. Fantasy is not. Do the thing you are afraid of. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear. You've heard that before, but let me refine it. Action is the cure for fear. If you are afraid of the dark, turn on the light. If you are afraid of the unknown, learn about it. If you are afraid of the future, build it. You are the architect. Stop looking at the blueprints and shaking. Pick up a brick, lay it down, then pick up another one. The wall gets built one brick at a time. The life gets lived one moment at a time. You are overwhelmed because you are looking at the whole wall. It's too big, I can't build it. Don't look at the wall, look at the brick. Can you lay one brick? Yes, then do that. That is the secret. Narrow your focus. When a sniper takes a shot, they don't look at the whole battlefield. They look through a scope. The world narrows down to a single crosshair. Everything else disappears. Anxiety is wide focus. Peace is narrow focus. Bring your scope down. What do you need to do in the next 5 minutes? Not the next 5 years. The next 5 minutes. I need to drink a glass of water. Good, do that. I need to open my laptop. Good, do that. String enough of these 5-minute victories together and you will have a day of peace. String enough days together and you will have a life of mastery. The dizziness will pass. Your balance will return. You are standing on the cliff, yes, but you don't have to jump and you don't have to fall. You can just sit down. You can enjoy the view. The height means you have climbed high. The vastness means you are free. Don't let the freedom scare you. Let it thrill you. The chains are off.
The cell is open. The guards are gone. Breathe. The air up here is thin, but it is sweet. You are safe. You are here. You are ready. Chapter 9. Emotional Teflon. Imagine your mind is a surface. For most of your life, this surface has been made of Velcro. Everything that touches it sticks to it. You walk through your day and you collect debris. A rude comment from a coworker sticks to you. A dirty look from a stranger sticks to you. A minor mistake you made in a meeting sticks to you. By the time you get home, you are covered in a layer of emotional garbage. You feel heavy. You feel dirty. You feel exhausted. Not because of the physical labor you did, but because of the sheer weight of the external world clinging to your psyche. You spend your evenings trying to pick the burrs off your soul. You vent to your partner, you drink the wine, you scroll the phone, trying to clean yourself off so you can do it all again tomorrow. This is a miserable way to live. It is the life of a sponge, soaking up every spill around it. Now, imagine a different surface. Imagine your mind is coated in Teflon, non-stick, smooth, frictionless. The rude comment hits you, and it slides right off. The mistake happens, you acknowledge it, and it falls to the floor. The bad traffic, the criticism, the disappointment, nothing can get a grip. You walk through the exact same world, encountering the exact same friction, but you arrive home clean. You arrive home light. This is the state of emotional Teflon. It is the ultimate superpower in a chaotic world. It is the ability to walk through fire and not smell like smoke. In this chapter, we are going to build this surface. We are going to change the texture of your mind from sticky to smooth. To do this, we must understand why things stick in the first place. Things stick because of your ego. Your ego is not just your pride, it is your definition of self. It is the surface area you present to the world. The bigger your ego, the more surface area you have. The more surface area you have, the easier you are to hit. When someone insults you, why does it hurt? It hurts because your ego catches the insult like a baseball mitt. You identify with the insult. You think they are disrespecting me. You defend the me. You fire back. You replay the scene for days. But who is the me that is offended? It is a construct. It is a story you tell yourself about your own importance. If you were a ghost, a bullet passes right through you. It cannot hurt you because there is nothing solid to hit. If you were a stone wall, the bullet shatters against you, but it leaves a mark. You have been trying to be a stone wall. You have been trying to be tough. You think that being strong means resisting the blow. But resistance creates cracks. Eventually, the wall crumbles. Emotional Teflon is not about being a wall. It is about being the ghost. It is about becoming transparent to negativity. There is a Buddhist parable about the second arrow. The Buddha said that being human means you will inevitably be struck by an arrow. This is the pain of life. You get sick, you lose money, someone yells at you. This is the first arrow. It is physical, it is real, and it is unavoidable. But most people, when struck by the first arrow, immediately shoot themselves with the second arrow. The second arrow is your reaction. Why did this happen to me? This isn't fair. I am such an idiot. They are terrible people. The first arrow caused pain. The second arrow causes suffering. The first arrow is the event. The second arrow is the story you tell about the event. The first arrow wounds you for a moment. The second arrow keeps the wound open for a lifetime. Emotional Teflon is the art of dodging the second arrow. It means you feel the pain of the insult, but you do not add the suffering of the narrative. You say, "Ouch, that was rude," and then you move on. You do not say, "They don't respect me. Nobody respects me. I'm a failure. I need to get revenge." Stop shooting yourself. The world is hard enough without you adding your own ammunition to the firing squad. We must clarify a crucial distinction. Emotional Teflon is not the same as emotional numbness. This is where people get confused. They think, if nothing sticks to me, does that mean I don't care? Does that mean I become a robot? No. Numbness is a defense mechanism. Numbness is building a bunker and hiding inside.
You don't feel the bad, but you also don't feel the good. You are safe, but you are dead. Teflon is different. Teflon conducts heat. You can cook on it. You can feel the warmth. You can feel the love, the joy, the excitement. You let the positive things penetrate. But when the cooking is done, the residue doesn't stick. You experience the emotion fully in the moment, and then you let it go. You are a conduit, not a container. A conduit allows water to flow through it. It stays clean. A container holds the water. The water stagnates. It grows algae. It rots. Most people are containers. They hold on to their anger from 1995. They hold on to their grief. They become swamps of stagnant emotion. Be a pipe, not a bucket. Let it flow. How do we achieve this scientifically? We must look at the refractory period. Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor, a neuroanatomist, discovered that the chemical lifespan of an emotion in the body is roughly 90 seconds. When you get angry, there's a physiological flush. Noradrenaline hits your system, your heart rate spikes. This chemical wave lasts about a minute and a half. After 90 seconds, the chemicals are flushed out of your blood. This means that if you are still angry after 2 minutes, it is no longer physiological. It is psychological. You are choosing to stay angry. You are re-stimulating your brain to release more chemicals. You are hitting the replay button on the event to get another hit of rage. You are keeping the fire alive by throwing more thought logs onto it. Emotional Teflon is simply the discipline of waiting out the 90 seconds without hitting replay. When the wave hits, surf it. Feel the heat. Clench your fists. Breathe through it. Watch the clock. I am feeling a wave of anger. It is chemicals. It will pass. Don't speak. Don't send the text. Don't make the decision. Just wait. Like a fever breaking, the heat will suddenly drop. You will find yourself back in control. The residue will slide off. But if you engage with the thought, if you start writing the mental email, if you start planning the comeback, you reset the clock. You buy yourself another 90 seconds of misery, and then another, and then another. You can turn a 90-second event into a 20-year grudge. That is a bad investment. Let's talk about dealing with other people, specifically difficult people. The world is full of people who are in pain. They're walking around with open wounds, looking for somewhere to bleed. Often, they will bleed on you. They will project their insecurities onto you. They will blame you for things you didn't do. They will try to provoke you because your peace insults their chaos. The person with a Velcro mind takes this personally. How dare they say that to me? The person with a Teflon mind understands the gift theory. If someone tries to hand you a bag of trash and you refuse to take it, who does the trash belong to? It still belongs to them. When someone insults you, they are offering you a bag of their own internal trash. They are offering you their anger, their insecurity, their bad day. You have a choice. You can reach out, grab the bag, and say, "Thank you, I will now carry this around and smell it all day." Or you can keep your hands in your pockets. You can look at the bag and say, "No thank you, that looks heavy. You keep it." You don't have to say this out loud. You say it energetically. You refuse to accept the premise of their insult. This creates a powerful dynamic shift. When someone tries to provoke you and you remain calm, you reflect their behavior back to them. They are screaming at a mirror. They see their own ugliness, and it usually makes them stop. If you scream back, you become them. You lower yourself to their frequency. Never wrestle with a pig. You both get dirty, and the pig likes it. Stay clean. This requires you to dismantle the need for validation. The reason criticism sticks to you is because there is a sticky patch of insecurity on your ego that craves approval. You are desperate for people to tell you that you are good, smart, and worthy. When you crave approval, you are terrified of disapproval. They are two sides of the same coin. If you need them to tell you you're a genius, you will be destroyed when they tell you you're a fool. You have handed them the remote control to your self-esteem. They press up, you feel good. They press down, you feel bad. You are a slave. Emotional Teflon comes from self-validation. It comes from knowing who you are so deeply that the external opinion creates no friction. If you know you are honest and someone calls you a liar, it doesn't stick. It sounds absurd. It's like someone calling you a purple elephant. You don't get angry, you get confused. You think, that's a weird thing to say, and you move on. The insult only burns if it touches a part of you that secretly suspects it might be true. If you are insecure about your intelligence and someone calls you stupid, it sticks. It burns. So the path to Teflon is not just shielding yourself from others, it is healing the sticky spots within yourself. The more you accept yourself, flaws and all, the less surface area there is for the world to grab onto. We must also apply Teflon to failure. You try something, you fail. The Velcro mind says, I am a failure. The label sticks. It becomes an identity. You stop trying because you don't want to add more labels. The Teflon mind says, that attempt failed. Do you see the difference? The failure is an event, not a person. It slides off. You learn the lesson, you discard the shame, and you try again. Think of a scientist in a lab. If an experiment fails, they don't have an existential crisis. They don't cry in the bathroom. They record the data. The failure is just information. It doesn't stick to their self-worth. You must become a scientist of your own life. Treat every day as an experiment. Some days the mixture explodes. Some days it turns into gold. Both are just data. There is a powerful phrase you must learn to use. It is the solvent that dissolves the glue of attachment. The phrase is, so what? Someone didn't like my video. So what? I looked awkward at the party. So what? I lost a bit of money on that trade. So what? So what is not nihilism, it is perspective. It challenges the catastrophic narrative your brain is trying to spin. Your brain says, if they don't like you, you will die alone in the woods. You say, so what? They don't like me. There are 8 billion other people. I'll find the ones who do. So what cuts the cord of significance. We make everything too significant. We treat a minor embarrassment like a Greek tragedy. Lighten up. You are a tiny biological speck on a rock spinning around a nuclear fireball in an infinite void. Your embarrassing moment at the grocery store does not register on the cosmic scale. This is cosmic Teflon. When you zoom out, the small stuff falls off. Finally, we must talk about the power of the pause. In between the stimulus, what happens to you, and the response, what you do, there is a space, a gap. For the reactive person, the Velcro person, there is no gap. The insult hits and the anger fires instantly. It is a reflex. The master, the Teflon person, widens the gap. Someone insults you, pause, breathe, observe the chemicals, decide. In that gap lies your freedom. In that gap, you can choose to be Teflon. You can choose to interpret the event differently. You can choose to laugh. You can choose to walk away. You cannot control the stimulus. You can only control the gap. Practice widening the gap today. When the phone rings and it's a number you don't want to talk to, don't react with instant annoyance. Pause. When the driver cuts you off, don't slam the horn. Pause. In that silence, you regain your sovereignty. You are building a mind that is invincible, not because it is hard, but because it is fluid. Water is invincible. You can strike water with a hammer and you cannot hurt it. The water simply moves aside and then reforms. It offers no resistance, yet it can wear down mountains. Be like water. Let the insults pass through you. Let the failures wash over you. Let the chaos flow around you. Retain your form. Retain your peace. Nothing sticks to you unless you grab it. Open your hands. Smooth your surface. Walk through the storm and arrive dry. Chapter 10. A Life Unbound. We have reached the end of the corridor. You started this journey carrying a heavy backpack, stuffed with the stones of your past, the rusted chains of your grudges, and the suffocating weight of your own expectations. You were tired. You were stuck. You were looking for a way out. If you have done the work, if you have truly listened and applied the principles of the last 9 chapters, you are standing here today lighter. You might feel a bit strange. You might feel a bit empty. Good. Emptiness is the prerequisite for freedom. You cannot fill a cup that is already full. For years, your cup was full of sour milk, old memories, old fears, old identities. Now you have poured it out. Now, for the first time in a long time, you are ready to taste fresh water. In this final chapter, we are not going to talk about techniques. We are done with the how. We are going to talk about the what. What does a life unbound actually look like? How does a free human being move through the world? Most people imagine enlightenment or mental freedom as a state of permanent bliss where nothing ever goes wrong. They imagine sitting on a cloud, smiling while the world burns. This is a fantasy. A life unbound is not a life without pain. It is not a life without failure. It is not a life without conflict. You will still get sick. You will still lose money. You will still have your heart broken. The difference is that you will no longer be destroyed by these things. A life unbound is a life without friction. Imagine a car driving with the parking brake on. That has been your life.
The engine is roaring, the wheels are spinning, there is smoke and heat and noise, but you are barely moving. You are fighting the mechanism of the car itself. Now you have released the brake. The car still encounters bumps in the road, it still encounters steep hills, but the internal resistance is gone. When you hit the gas, you move. When you coast, you glide. You are operating at maximum efficiency because you are no longer fighting yourself. The first marker of this new life is the death of urgency. You have spent your life rushing to the next goal, rushing to the next weekend, rushing to prove your worth. You were running because you were being chased by the phantom of not enough. When you let go, the phantom vanishes. You realize there is nowhere to get to. There is no finish line. Life is not a race. It is a dance. In a race, the goal is to get to the end as fast as possible. But if you treat life like a race, the finish line is death. Why are you rushing toward the grave? In a dance, the goal is not to get to a specific spot on the floor. The goal is to enjoy the music. The goal is to move with grace in the present moment. The point of the dance is the dance itself. The unbound person does not rush. They move with purpose, yes. They are effective, yes, but they are not frantic. They know that everything that needs to get done will get done. They trust the timing. They savor the coffee while they drink it, instead of thinking about the email they need to send. They look their children in the eye, instead of looking at the clock. They are here. The second marker is the end of performance. You have retired the actor. You have taken off the mask. You no longer walk into a room and scan it to see who you need to be to please the crowd. You walk in as yourself. This is a dangerous kind of freedom. It makes you unpredictable. People can't manipulate you anymore because you don't need anything from them. You don't need their validation. You don't need their permission. You speak your truth, not because you want to start a fight, but because you have lost the ability to lie. Lying requires tension. It requires keeping track of the story. The unbound mind is too lazy to lie. It is easier to just tell the truth. This authenticity acts as a magnet. You will find that you attract a different caliber of people. The people who loved your mask will fall away. Let them go. The people who resonate with your soul will step forward. These are your real tribe. A life unbound is also characterized by a shift from seeking to creating. For years, you have been a seeker. You were seeking happiness. You were seeking answers. You were seeking the one. You were a beggar, going from door to door, asking the world to give you what you were missing. But you have realized the joke. You were never missing anything. You were just blocked. Now that the blocks are gone, you stop seeking and you start expressing. You stop asking the world, what can you give me? And you start asking, what can I create? You become a generator. You generate love. You generate ideas. You generate wealth. You generate art. You are a sun, not a black hole. A black hole sucks everything in. A sun radiates light out. This is where your true purpose is found. It is not something you find under a rock. It is something you build with your own hands, fueled by the energy you used to waste on anxiety. Think about the sheer amount of energy you used to spend on worrying. Gigawatts of brain power burned on what if. Now that energy is available. You have a nuclear reactor in your chest that is finally online. What are you going to power with it? The unbound life also changes your relationship with risk. The bound person is terrified of the unknown. They stay in the safe harbor. They stay in the miserable job because it is predictable. They stay in the dead relationship because it is familiar. The unbound person looks at the unknown and feels excitement, not dread. You realize that safety is an illusion. The harbor is not safe. Ships rot in the harbor. You were built for the open sea. You start to take risks, not reckless, stupid risks, but existential risks. You start the business, you write the book, you say, "I love you" first. You book the one-way ticket. You do this because you are no longer afraid of falling. You know that if you fall, you will bounce. You have developed emotional Teflon. You know that failure cannot stick to you. It cannot define you. So why not jump? The trapeze artist cannot catch the next bar until they let go of the current one. There is a moment in the air where they are holding nothing. That moment is terrifying to the amateur, but it is the only place where the magic happens. You are willing to live in the air. And finally, a life unbound is a life of radical gratitude. Not the fake gratitude where you write down 3 things in a journal because a guru told you to. I mean the visceral, overwhelming realization that you are alive. You stop taking things for granted because you are no longer living in your head. You are living in your senses. You see the color of the sky. You taste the food. You feel the wind. You realize that the odds of you existing, of your specific DNA coming together in this specific moment in history are so infinitesimally small that your very life is a statistical miracle. You stop complaining about the traffic because you realize you are a conscious being hurtling through space, capable of listening to music in a climate-controlled metal box. It's a miracle. You stop complaining about your body because you realize it is a biological machine of immense complexity that allows you to touch and feel and move. When you let go of the entitlement that says, "Life owes me perfection," you are left with the gratitude that says, "Thank you for the experience." Even the bad days, even the pain, it's all part of the ride. You are here to experience it all. The bound person tries to numb the pain. The unbound person feels it, honors it, and lets it pass, knowing that without the winter, there is no spring. So, here is the final question, the question that ends this book and begins your life. What are you going to do with your empty hands? You have dropped the chains. You have dropped the luggage. You have dropped the weapons. Your hands are open. You can cling to something new. You can pick up a new set of anxieties. You can find a new identity to hide behind. The world will happily sell you new chains. Or you can keep them open. You can walk into the world with your palms facing up, ready to receive whatever comes, ready to let go of whatever leaves. This is the posture of the master. The open hand. The closed fist can punch, but it cannot hold. The closed fist is strong, but it is blind. The open hand is vulnerable, but it is powerful. It can caress, it can build, it can catch, and it can release. Go out there and live with open hands. Stop trying to write the script of your life. The script is boring. The script is limited by your imagination, and your imagination is too small for what the universe has in store for you. Improvise. Wake up tomorrow morning and say, "I have no idea what is going to happen today, and I can't wait to find out." Treat your life like a great adventure, not a problem to be solved. You are not a machine that needs to be fixed. You are a fire that needs to burn. Let go of the ash. Feed the flame. You are free. You have always been free. You just forgot. Now you remember. Do not forget again. The door is open. The sun is up. The road is waiting. Walk.